Hey, welcome to another Saturday Sparks live, live and uncut, right? So we are here Saturday morning here at 9 a.m. Central. This is Adam Bauer, CEO of the Marketing Clerics. We are here to provide answers to your burning marketing questions. This week we had some questions around tracking phone numbers and how to best use them for your business and your marketing. So we're going to talk about that, and we're also going to talk about just tracking and attribution in general. So it's one of the burning topics that people have at the moment is how do I know what is working and what is not when I'm doing marketing? And so I'm hoping to shed some insights into that and share that insight with you today. So we'll get started here. The important thing to know about tracking and call tracking in general, excuse me, is that attribution and identifying like where people found you is becoming more and more difficult. You would think with the advancing of technology and AI and all that stuff that it'd be easier to identify where people have found you. But the reality of it is research has shown that people need to see your business, your brand, at least 7 times before, well, actually it's more, at least 7 times throughout the online or offline atmosphere before they even call you and reach out to you. And so that's kind of the biggest rub right now, is that when you're asking someone, so like I see a lot of people that put in their contact forms on their website, they're like, okay, how did you hear from us? How did you hear about us? Well, I mean, I saw you on a reel on Instagram. I saw your billboard. Your car drove by, and a friend of mine mentioned your name this last week. So which do you attribute that to? And so it's starting to become more like omnipresent. So, right. So you're always going to be out there. You always need to put out content that is going to be visible. And so this, like, for example, this broadcast or this live stream right now is only on Facebook. And the only reason I'm doing that live on Facebook is because for me, I struggle with consistency. And so before like I go and invest in like a multi-stream tool to throw it out on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, all the different TikTok places, I wanted to be consistent for at least 13 weeks. And so I'm on week 7. Once I get to week 13 and I'm doing this every week, then I will look at Restream or something. We'll throw it out other places. But the recording is always going to be distributed. So we have a YouTube podcast. We have audio versions of this live broadcast that's sent out to anywhere you can find a podcast. And that's if you just search up Saturday Sparks by the Marketing Clerics, you'll find that podcast. So that's kind of the omnipresent approach, right? And so always putting out content on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on X. Not the same content, of course, but just something out there. So when you're having all of that content out there, how do you track that? Like, how do you know the stuff you put out on Instagram is actually producing dollars for your business? And I'm not talking about likes. I'm not talking about follows. I'm not talking about comments. I'm talking about actual converted business, because that's what we care about. We want to do the work that we're doing so that we can get actual converted business. And so that's where tracking comes in. So I want to start with call tracking because that's where the initial question came up. And there's 2 schools of thought when it comes to call tracking. One is I want to put up tracking numbers on anything I put out on the internet or offline. So anything I print, anything I put on the internet, anywhere they see me, like a radio ad or any of that stuff, I want to put a tracking number on it. That school of thought is mainly because tracking numbers often come with like call recording features. And that allows you to view the recordings, to capture the transcripts, to train sales teams on how to best convert and what people are looking for and that kind of stuff. So that's the benefit of having call tracking numbers everywhere, is that you can actually start to see trends, where your customers are finding you, what they're asking about, what they're looking for. One of the best things we like to do with our call recordings is identify keywords and key phrases that customers are using that might be different than what we are targeting when it comes to SEO and pay-per-click. And so basically finding the local language, the local idiomatic principles that people are using to help target more and get more calls in the door. And so that's the one school of thought. so you'd basically set up like an organic Facebook tracking number. That would be anything that you'd post on Facebook. You'd use that tracking number. You'd set up an organic Google business profile tracking number, which would be set up on your Google business profile. You'd set up like an organic Instagram tracking number, which pretty much would be the same. Meta and Facebook or Instagram and Facebook are pretty much the same. Not same, but cross posting and that kind of stuff. So, or maybe you have a LinkedIn one that's just commercial based. So you do a commercial business tracking number. So anything you post on LinkedIn, you throw that number out there. And then finally, you have one for your website. So having a tracking number for your website, being able to know where people are coming from, how they're reaching that number and that kind of stuff. So, and then anything that you do offline. So any radio ads, TV ads, any print magazines, print flyers, any of that stuff, you get tracking numbers. So what the other school of thought, and this is more leaning towards what we recommend. So we'll put out tracking numbers on your Google profile and your website. But anything like on social media, we would probably just recommend using your main number. So our school of thought on that is anything that you aren't paying for, you're fine using your main number. And the reason being is when you're using a call tracking number, a call tracking service, you're really trying to measure the return on the investment. In organic content, there is an investment of time, but it's less tangible to your bottom line. And so as opposed to when you're doing a paid meta ad campaign, hey, Austin, good to have you. As opposed to having a paid meta campaign or a Google pay-per-click campaign where you are actually seeing real dollars go out the door and you want to attribute real dollars coming in the door. And so how do you, that's where we draw the line when it comes to call tracking. So if we are running your social media, if we're posting on your social media account, we will use tracking numbers because you are paying us to run your social media. And so we want you to see the return on that investment. We'll use a tracking number on your Google profile because you're paying us to optimize and manage your Google profile. Same thing for your website. And so we want you to see that attribution. We want you to see the fruits of the work that we're putting in. And so that's kind of our best practice when it comes to call tracking. The tools that you would use, it depends. So some individuals or some electricians, they'll use the CRM that they have. So I'm going to stand actually because I'm feeling a little antsy. So some people will use, like I know ServiceTitan, they have tracking number capabilities, so you can you can purchase tracking numbers and use those, and it'll track attributions and whatnot. We don't necessarily rely on that because not every one of our clients is going to be using ServiceTitan. And so what we use a tool called WhatConverts, and I can just share my screen here. So WhatConverts is a all-in-one kind of tracking system. So it'll track calls, it'll track forms on your website, and it will, if you get kind of the premium plans, it'll also track like multi-click and customer journey type stuff. So page visited, so someone lands on your landing page, but then they go to see the service about generator installation, and that's when they click. And so you could see like the journey that they go And the other thing about multi-click and customer journey is that you can then see, it's not always 100% accurate, but you can see where if someone started their journey with you from a Facebook post that you made, and then after that Facebook post, they landed on your website and they went to several pages. They didn't convert on anything, but then they came back 2 days later because of a Google ad remarketing that you had that they saw. They clicked on that, same user, same attribution, and that is what converted them. And so you could see like the whole journey, and it really helps to define what marketing strategies you want to do when it comes to online marketing. So these are individual-based business prices, so $60 a month. You'll get all tracking features. You do get $30 in credit. What they do is they have local numbers. You get one local number with the plan, with the call tracking plan, and then any additional ones that you want, it's $250 per month each. And then you get up to $30 in credit towards the local minutes. And so as it records the calls, it charges towards the minutes. And so that's it. It's actually pretty affordable when it comes to what you're getting, because you can capture a lot of this kind of stuff. And so lead management reporting is also included, keyword campaign, visitor, marketing channel, keyword reporting. So those are all the things on the basic like call tracking plan. We use the agency plus plan, and so we have up to a lot of information. We captured a lot of information for you. So the other, like the more advanced, like customer journey, multi-click marketing, we're not to the point of getting that. This is really, if you're a business that's doing like 30 million a year, that's when you want to start looking at these kind of things. Otherwise, if you're doing less than 30 million, just normal call tracking is great. So that is WhatConverts. And so what I wanted to do with this session is I just want to set up one of our new clients here with their WhatConverts account, and just show you the process and how simple it can be. So I'm going to pick on Matthews Lighting down in Rome, Georgia. Shout out to Austin. And so we're setting him up. Oops, not personal. Just the other. And so the phone number, this is their main phone number. This is the sales landing page that we set up for them. And so we create the account, and then it's like, okay, do you want Google Ads? Yep, we're doing Google Ads for him. They have local search tracking, I think. So, hey, Austin, hey, marketing team over at Matthews Lighting, thanks for joining. So we'll use Google Ads for this one. I'll create when it comes down to it, when we launch their new website, we'll create a separate account that's just for Google search and that kind of stuff and Bing search. So, but for now, we're just doing Google Ads and the ads extension, and we find local numbers. I think it's 706 down there, and found available numbers 706-802-7233. Yes, I did memorize that. So record all incoming calls, and hit continue. And then you put in the website. Let me try putting HTTPS. That's interesting. Matthews Electric Bros. Did I spell that right? Yep. All right. Well, anyway, I'll skip that for now because that's there. So install code. There's a WordPress plugin that you can use for this, but I just copy the tracking code itself. Throw it in here quick. And so this process really is in order for us to capture any form submissions on this landing page, and what it does is it doesn't only capture the form data, but it also captures the attribution, where it came from. So if I landed on this page through a Facebook ad, it will actually say meta ad. If I landed on this page from a Google search, it'll say Google search. But we're doing Google pay-per-click and ads. And so the nice thing about WhatConverts is it not only tells me that that it came from a Google ad, but it also tells me that it came, like what keyword drove that traffic. And so I can see exactly what keywords are driving that. And you may ask, okay, doesn't Google Ads itself track the keyword? It does, but it's not always 100% accurate. And so that's why we rely on third-party tools to reinforce that data. So that is, so that is WhatConverts as a tool for call tracking. So I'm going to jump into any questions on call tracking, you guys that are watching. There are other tools out there for call tracking as well. So we use WhatConverts. There's a tool called CallRail as well. We actually stopped using CallRail just because when we did implement it for a few clients, they ended up getting a ton of spam calls for some reason, and that was actually something that was reported more broadly about CallRail, and so that's why I switched over to WhatConverts. It's a steeper investment, but it's worth it. So the other thing I wanted to show you, so on, let's see. Yeah, so let me just show. So this is sample data, but really the benefit of the WhatConverts is that you can see where the leads, like what the leads came in as. So like a chat message, a text message, call, form, transactions. So you can even do it on e-commerce sites. Appointments, we can connect it up to your CRM for appointment bookings, that kind of stuff. And you can see, you can set quote value and sales value. And this is where the return on investment comes in. So and I think, yeah, you can't see, there you go. What is the value of your lead? You can see, we can set each lead that comes in, what the sales value is, and close value. And so that way, at the end of the month, you see, okay, we've got X amount of leads generated, $20,000, but we only spent about $2,000 in ad spend. And so you can see that direct correlation to return on investment. You can see what source medium generated more leads. So this data is sample. So it's talking about Google cost per click, pay-per-click, organic Google, Facebook pay-per-click, which is meta ads, et cetera. And so we can see exactly where, which channel is producing the most for the business. So we can see what pages are bringing in the most leads. So this is nice if you run a service area business, because you can create location pages for each location and each service. And so you can see, okay, we got a trend this past month that people in Cedartown, wherever, are like requesting a lot more generator installations over there. So we can actually see like where they're coming from or what pages they're landing on. Recent leads, which source medium is converting the best. So this is conversion rate. So how many people have visited versus how many people have converted. It's an important metric. And which source medium generated the most quote value and sales value. So which, at the end of the day, it's about return on investment, right? So which location or which channel is bringing you the most income and the most new revenue. And you find that out, you double down on that channel. And so that's the value of this kind of tracking information, is that it helps you target your marketing dollars a lot better than if you didn't have it. So that's WhatConverts. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, so in general, form tracking. So WhatConverts does form tracking as well, but as you could see, there's some oddness. Couldn't find the form on the site. I'd have to send it up manually, and I'm not going to take the time to do that today. But form tracking is what I would say you want to do with form tracking is, if you have a form on each page, which you should, or at least a contact button on each page, you should have unique. Well, you don't need unique with WhatConverts because it'll capture the page that they converted on. But if you have more than one form or more than one call to action, so like for example on Matthew's landing page here, we've got get a quote on top. We've got a form here in the hero image. We have a contact us at the in the middle, and we have a free estimate at the bottom. And so what would be nice, and what is nice and best practice, is to know, okay, which button, which call to action actually drove the conversion. And so there's ways to tag the actual button with a pixel that will tell you if that's the one that was clicked. And so that's the best practice for that. It's kind of like the A/B testing. So is free estimate going to be the one that's going to drive a conversion, or contact us? If it's free estimate, okay, let's change this contact us to free estimate. So that way we can start seeing more conversion. That's conversion rate optimization. So, but the tools for that, WhatConverts, again, CallRail I think does have form tracking as well implemented, so you could use that there too. And then when you're doing like a Google pay-per-click campaign, you can connect forms and conversion metrics based on forms. And so you want to do that as well. If you don't know how to do that, it's a little bit more advanced than WhatConverts is, but happy to walk you through that if you need it. So that's form tracking. Any questions on tracking forms? I'm getting into it now, Tony. That's right. All right. So for those who may have just joined us, or if you are here and you find this information valuable, I invite you to subscribe for notifications on future live broadcasts, as well as share this broadcast with your followers, your friends, because it's free information basically. And I would say it's probably more higher quality than ChatGPT can give you. And it's based on experience, not on book knowledge. So the things we've talked about so far, we're talking about tracking and attribution. We are in an era where attribution is very difficult to complete because people are seeing people are needing to see a brand or a business in multiple channels before they even reach out. And so that could be they saw your truck down the road, they saw your meta ad, they saw your ad in the local paper, that kind of stuff, or they heard about you from a friend. And you can't always track all of that information. And so, but we want to track what we can, right? Because if we don't track it, then we don't know what's working. We don't know where to invest in our marketing. And we just kind of end up throwing money at a wall and seeing what sticks, but we don't really know what sticks. So it doesn't work that way. All right, so tracking, we talk about call tracking using WhatConverts or CallRail. Setting up the unique tracking numbers specifically by marketing investment. And so if you have a separate a Google ad campaign, having a separate tracking number for that. If you're doing a flyer or a mail out, having a second, like a dedicated tracking number for that campaign, so that okay, I spent $2,000 on this mailer, and I got 2 calls from it, and I made about $1,000. So it's like, there's no return on it. I'm not going to do it again. Same thing for like billboards, or I've seen some people put tracking numbers on their fleet vehicles, just to know, like, okay, people are seeing the wrap and they're calling, because that's how they attribute it to. So maybe we want to invest in a better wrap and a cooler design, and something that's going to draw more attention. So form tracking, forms are really online only. So there's forms on websites, on landing pages, but there's also forms within. You can do like a lead form within Meta. You can also do a lead form within Google Ads, and so that's form tracking. And then the next one that we're going to talk about is social media tracking. And so how do you track attribution with social media? Besides saying you don't. It's very, very difficult to track social media engagement, not engagement, but conversions. And the reason being is that there are so many, like, I wouldn't call them lurkers, maybe lurkers. They're observers, right? So they see your content in the news feed. They don't like it, they don't comment on it, but they see it. And maybe they stop and watch the reel that you posted, but they don't engage with it. Well, that could spark something a week from now, 3 weeks from now, whatever. And then they see your content again. And they're like, oh, yeah, man, I've been looking for an electrician to finish our remodel, because it's been kind of sitting there. It's been on my husband's honey-do list for a while, and I think it might just be time to hire a professional to get it done. So that's kind of social media like mindset and tracking. And so when you're talking about tracking and attributing conversions with social media, you're really talking about exposure, like your exposure impression rate, as well as your kind of engagement rate, so to speak. So when you are, some individuals or some companies will put in like a tracking number for any organic social. And I'm going to share a quick example here. So this one, they've got the tracking number here at the bottom of this post. The van is also in the picture, which has a different phone number, and kind of the question came up. This is why the question came up, is because isn't it confusing to show this phone number, but then also show the number on the van, and that's different. And the kind of the answer that we came up with towards the beginning of this call, or this session, was, if it's something that you're paying to advertise, you should always use your tracking number. If it's organic posts, if it's just a social post that you're throwing out there, it's gonna be hard to like attribute it to that post. Even if they see that number and call that number, it might not be from that exact post that they saw that. And so, what I would say, anything that you're not paying for for marketing, I wouldn't put a specific tracking number on it. So, yeah. So the Other social media tracking best practices. So we want to understand what content is getting the most engagement, the most impressions. And so you'll see that within like your Meta professional dashboard if you're on Facebook or Instagram. TikTok, you'll also see it. It's generally by like view count on TikTok. But those are the types of things that you will want to try to reproduce. And so if you've got something that's going really well and you're getting a lot of engagement, a lot of followers, and a lot of impressions, then it's probably something that you want to just keep doing and iterating on. Tools for tracking social media. The built-in tools can get you most of the way there. We end up using tools such as let me pull this up here. So we use Content Studio for our clients, and sure, I'm sharing my screen here. So we use this not only to track analytics and metrics, but we use it to like schedule out posts and publishing calendars, identifying best times to post, that kind of stuff, and then the analytics. So we're able to track with all of our posts, which ones are getting clicks and which ones are doing better on impressions and all that kind of stuff. And so you want to I would take a look at some kind of tool like this at some point if you're interested in going into social media and continuing in with social media. And if you are not doing social media, I highly recommend you actually do it because what we're seeing in the marketing trends are people aren't just doing Google searches anymore. They're not just going out to their phones and pulling up Google to search for an electrician near me. They're actually seeing the content that people are producing on social media, and that is starting to kind of trigger subconsciously the need for that service. And so the trend is if you're not on social media in the next probably 3 to 5 years, your business is going to really struggle. And so we do our best to help stop that and prevent that by posting high quality content that is connected to the business and how they operate and their values and that kind of stuff. So being unique and providing that extra extra value. So that is social media tracking. Any questions on social media tracking? We move into, thanks if anyone new is joining, I appreciate you hopping in to Saturday Sparks. It is your opportunity to have ideas for marketing spark into your mind. So I love that. We've been talking about tracking and attribution today, going down the rabbit trail of call tracking, form tracking, just wrapped up social media tracking. Now we're going to jump into offline campaign tracking. Okay, so I touched a little bit about this in the call tracking section, but what we want to do when it comes to offline tracking is depending on the campaign. So like let's say you are doing a radio ad. When you're doing the radio ad, you're paying I don't know how much they run nowadays, but you're paying money to run that ad. And so you want to have some unique attributes that will show you the conversions that have come in through that radio ad. And to do that, you would set up a custom call tracking number just for that radio ad, using WhatConverts or CallRail or your CRM. I know like ServiceTitan has it too. I'm not sure if House Call Pro or Jobber does, but you would set that up. And the second thing that you could or would do or should do is create a separate domain that is specific to that radio ad. And so instead of doing MatthewsElectricPros.com, you would do, I don't know, generatorinstallnow.com or something. And so it's a very easy to remember URL that people can hear on the radio and remember it later. You can set up custom tracking on that, and when people land on that URL, you know it's coming from that radio ad, and that kind of stuff. if you're doing a flyer campaign or a mailer, having a unique tracking number for that as well. And then what I would say, in addition to the unique number, have a unique QR code. Okay, so there's dozens of free QR code generators online. Canva even has one now. And so you can go in here, you can set up your URL. The free ones probably won't give you statistics and editability, but you don't really need that, because here's the trick. If you use this campaign URL builder, so if you search UTM builder, you'll find Google Analytics tool to create a unique URL that ties into to analytics that will show you that this was the campaign that they landed on. Okay, so in this preset example, this is a local festival that we're promoting. Is you put the base website URL, the campaign ID. So this is could be like a number for the ads campaign for Google Ads or something else. Campaign source. So is it coming in through Facebook, coming in through Instagram? This one was coming in through Instagram. Marketing medium. So this is like, is it organic? Is it CPC? Is it an email? That kind of stuff. And so putting that in there. And then the campaign name is specific to that campaign. So is it a specific promo code? Do you have a product that you're promoting or a service you're promoting? Put that in the campaign name. You can put these other ones in here, but they're not required. And then you just get a generated campaign URL. And so you take this URL and you copy this over into your QR generator, and you paste that URL in there. Let me actually do it. And then, it updates the QR code. And then anytime someone scans that code, they'll land with these UTM tags. And these UTM tags will come back to your analytics report and your tracking report. And it will show you, okay, we had 10 people land on the site with the source of Instagram organic and the campaign of Linktree. And so then I can do a filter. You can run a report and say, okay, how effective was that mailer campaign? How many people landed on the website, on the landing page, through that QR code that we sent out? And so if you are doing any sort of print campaign, do not do it without a custom URL, custom code. The UTM builder can also be used and very helpful for social media tracking. And so if you are running a specific series of organic posts in social media that have a specific call to action around maybe a new service offering, that kind of stuff, set up a custom URL UTM and add that to the post. And so that way you can see not only did they come from Facebook organically, but we also see they came in through that campaign that we were running on the social posts. And so in the example that I've been using with Matthews Lighting, because of the team that's watching, how you would use this is like if you have the When in Rome team, if they're posting promoting posts for you and putting out content that's promoting your brand, if they have a link in the post, give them a custom UTM link, and then change the URL. Campaign source, campaign medium organic, and then put in When in Rome for the campaign name. So that way you know, and you can go back to your analytics report and see, okay, how effective is the marketing that we're doing with this When in Rome organization. So that is that's URL tracking, offline tracking. Yeah. The last thing I'll say about this is it's none of it is perfect science. You're going to get some false positives, some false negatives. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining. Good to see you. So the point I'm trying to make with tracking and attribution is that the more data that you have with what you're spending your marketing dollars on, the better. And I see too many electricians, too many tradesmen who spend a lot of money on things that don't get a return. And it saddens me because it's so easy to set these things up and people just aren't doing it. So if you are in the process of launching a new mailer campaign or a new Google Ads account and campaign, set up that tracking number, set up those custom URLs for tracking and all that kind of stuff. So okay, I'm spending $2,000 a month on Google Ads, and I'm getting these many leads. This is how valuable it is, and this is my return on that investment. And so, if I'm spending $2,000 a month and I'm getting back $20,000 a month, maybe I take it and go to $3,000 a month and see if maybe I get $30,000 in return. And so that's the benefit of all the tracking. And if you're not doing that, you need to start. So if anybody has any other questions that may not be related to call tracking or form tracking, feel free to add a comment here. Just going to wrap up this session at this point, but add a comment and I'll get a question answered probably next week for you. Otherwise, I'm around, so you can send me a DM, post in our Facebook group. So we have a Facebook group called Purposeful Marketing for electricians and low voltage pros. And lastly, if you do want to schedule a one-on-one session with me to go through some of your marketing marketing strategy, use the link that I just posted here and schedule that conversation. So I'm always happy to give and help you guys get a return on that marketing investment. So that is all I have. So thank you guys for showing up. Hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Stay cool out there. It's going to be like 102 here in Minnesota. I can't imagine what it's going to be like down in Georgia. So stay cool, and we'll catch you next week.